Straight out of the gate. Bold print, her plaid. There's a lot happening on the screen right now.
It's a busy Wednesday in what we're wearing and what's going on, you know?
Right into it, definitely. Well, we do want to get started today with poll workers and the push, the big need for those poll workers. Like many businesses around the state, Ohio has the help wanted sign out when it comes to election day workers. With the November general election right around the corner, the need is greater than ever. Lydia Sparra joins us live now from the Board of Elections in Cleveland to tell us about the opportunities that come with some unexpected perks. You have my attention, Lydia.
That's right, Betsy, and you're right. They did put out the help wanted sign last year. In last year's election, there were 56,000 poll workers. They're nowhere near that right now. Frank LaRose, the Secretary of State, says overall, we need 17,000 poll workers. But here in Cuyahoga County, we need about 4,500. COVID-19 has kept some older folks away from the polls, but there are other reasons too. New technology, and they need younger people for that. But here is the real reason.
The overall hiring situation is a challenge right now. I think that's pretty well publicized that, you know, there's a lot of jobs going unfilled, and we're no exception here at the Board of Elections.
Oh, they're no exception. So here's the benefit of being a poll worker. Not only do you learn the democratic process, you learn the insides and out from the Board of Elections here, but you also get paid up to $200 for the day of working the polls. And Betsy, if you're a young college student, you can get paid up to $15 to help carry boxes in and out of the polling places. So it's all a good thing. We have put a link on our website if anyone wants more information. They need the help. Please log on.
Well, it's an easy way to pick up some quick cash and do some good for your community. All right, Lydia, thank you so much.
Well, before you sit down for dinner tonight, there's a new alert about the amount of salt you're eating.
The FDA is urging food manufacturers and restaurants to take action now to cut salt. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins joins us now with the breakdown on all of this. The FDA lending their 2 cents about salt reductions.
Yeah, many say it's about time. Yeah. And we're going to have a little quiz at the end of this. But first, let me tell you what's going on. The FDA wants food manufacturers and restaurants to cut the salt in their products over the next 2.5 years, hoping to reduce our overall sodium intake by 12%. The sweeping recommendation announced today is expected to cover a wide variety of foods, from chain restaurant meals to processed foods on grocery store shelves, even baby food. This has been a long time coming. The CDC has been pushing for this for several years, and we've all known that high salt intake is a contributor to heart disease.
To reduce the incidence of heart disease, hypertension, and particularly stroke. And it is long overdue. It hasn't happened voluntarily. It's now going to happen via regulation. And, you know, we always want it to be voluntary, but sometimes you need regulations to push things along.
So currently, Americans eat nearly a teaspoon of salt a day. Guidelines indicate we should eat no more than a teaspoon, but Americans do eat more than that. And these new recommendations would cut the average intake by 60 fewer teaspoons out of a year. So this 2,300 milligrams is how much salt you are supposed to consume in a day. So ladies, I put a couple of food items. So let's just say, Sarah, you're going to eat a salad and some soup. Take a guess and have something to drink. So take a guess from your salad dressing to the soup to the pop. How much do you think sodium is in there?
The total for this meal right here in front of me?
The total for all 3 of those. Or just pick one. I don't care.
I'm going to say 1,000 milligrams.
1,000 total?
Yes. I know soup would be high for sure.
Okay, Bets, what do you think? You have soup, a cheeseburger, and some apple pie.
I'm probably up at like 5,000 because this is all out of the wheel of death. I know that.
Very, yes.
It's all processed.
Absolutely, yes, it is. Very close. Okay, so this is how much Americans consume a day, 3,400 milligrams, when we're only supposed to have 2,300 milligrams. Betsy, your food, all 3 of these things, 2630.
So that's it for the day.
That's it for the day.
done.
You are
You're done.
over your allotted
Over
amount.
already.
Sorry.
You, young lady, are 2515.
Oh, wow.
2000. Yeah.
So healthy.
And that soup, just so you can
Man.
see here, if you cover it, now remember, in a can of soup, it's 2.5 serving sizes. That's 2,125.
So much of that is just right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that. So I think that's what people need to remember. They need to start looking at what's in their food, especially these processed foods.
Yeah.
Make your own. That's the best way to do it. And here I went through, I was finding some surprise salt sources, okay?
Oh, wow.
Surprise.
You're
take
going
a
all
look.
Tim Russert on
I
us.
am.
This is
Yes,
great.
I am. So shrimp, just one serving of shrimp could have 800 milligrams of salt in it.
You live in the sea.
One bagel, 400 milligrams of salt. Let's see. One slice of cheese, 377. Instant pudding, 350 milligrams.
Not instant pudding.
Yeah, and cottage cheese, 350 milligrams. So bottom line, read the label. You're not supposed to have more than 2,300 a day. We need to cut our salt. The easiest way to do that is cook your own food. And don't add salt. Add salt when you think you need it. Taste it first.
And pay attention to condiments because they can
Yes.
be another really sneaky source.
Yes,
when we watch those from our
absolutely.
house.
But who knew there was, salt in pop? Who
Watch
knew?
out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There
Thanks,
you go.
Monica.
Thanks for calling it pop.
Sure.
Continuing on the health beat now, a new law in Ohio is banning the mandatory vaccinations in public schools. It is now in effect. Now, this would include colleges. House Bill 244 only applies to vaccines that have not yet been fully approved by the FDA. Pfizer is the only COVID-19 vaccine that has received full FDA approval. The new law also prohibits individuals who don't receive emergency use vaccines from being denied the chance to participate in school activities, including sports. One to keep an eye on there. Also today, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health spoke with other officials about the COVID pandemic. The discussion was about cooler temperatures and vaccines, especially for those who have yet to receive the shots. County Executive Armin Budish says even though Ohio's COVID cases have seen a slow but steady decline, he's concerned about another potential spike, especially with winter on the way.
Last year at this time, our cases skyrocketed, and we saw far too many positive cases, far too many deaths. We now have the chance to prevent this. That's by getting vaccinated.
We've posted the Cuyahoga County Board of Health's entire discussion from today on WKYC.com and the 3 News app. And why not put a little icing here on your feet at 5? If you are retired and on Social Security, listen up. Your checks are about to get bigger. The Social Security Administration announced today that recipients will see monthly checks go up by 5.9% next year. The jump is because of inflation the U.S. is experiencing right now, and the change will impact about 70 million people who get Social Security, including retirees, along with people who have disabilities. Officials are calling this the biggest cost of living adjustment in 39 years.
Wow. Well, in a matter of weeks, the U.S. will once again welcome travelers from Mexico and Canada as long as they're fully vaccinated. This after a 19-month freeze at the borders. The new rules will allow fully vaccinated foreign nationals to enter the U.S. for any reason starting early next month. And in January, even essential travelers seeking to enter the U.S., like truck drivers, will need to be fully vaccinated. Well, it looks like the old Richmond Town Square Mall will be seeing new life. The Richmond Heights City Council approved a new plan last night for a project called the Bell Oaks Marketplace.
Our Lena Lai was at that meeting and has a look at what this means for the community.
Behind the fencing surrounding the old Richmond Town Square Mall lies 69 acres of real estate and perhaps the next era of Richmond Heights economy. Final site plans are now approved for the $260 million project called Bell Oaks Marketplace, a mix of residential and retail development featuring 800 luxury apartments, green space, plus room for 30-plus stores and restaurants, and anchored by a Meijer store.
You have to make the apartments for the people, and then you build the restaurants so the people that are living there, and along with our present residents, they don't have to go out of town to go to a restaurant.
In 1966, Richmond Town Square was heralded as the largest enclosed shopping mall in Ohio, with fancy fountains and 90 stores where generations went to visit Santa and Mr. Jingling at Christmas time. When it closed for good last May, it joined dead and dying malls across the U.S. waiting for a new vision.
There are so few opportunities left, in particular in the eastern suburbs, to do any kinds of housing development like this of any scale.
The city expects the project to create hundreds of new jobs and $20 million more in tax revenue over 30 years. But there are concerns over the project's 15-year tax abatement and its impact on schools.
We're talking about the opportunity for transient populations when we're talking about apartments.
The goal is to begin demolition of the mall in January, with the first phase of the project to open in 2023, along with the hope of new memories to be made.
Lena Lai, 3 News.
The crew of Star Trek vowed to go where no man has gone before. But earlier today, that guy, Captain Kirk, William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk, went where he'd never gone before, space. The 90-year-old joined 3 other passengers for the launch from West Texas, riding a rocket into space courtesy of Star Trek fan Jeff Bezos. He's now the oldest person to travel to space, and that trip lasted just over 10 minutes. The reality for the actor? Obviously, completely overwhelming.
What you have given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary.
That's got to be a really life-changing moment there, fulfilling a promise made so long ago to boldly go where no man his age has gone before. Blue Origin says this was the 18th now successful flight of the New Shepard rocket and their second manned mission since late July. We'll have a full report on all of it coming up at 6.
Wow, what a reaction. Well, next tonight on What's New, our Education Station series continues, and this week we take you inside the classroom to check in on our students' mental health.
Then Adele wants to say hello again to her fans. We'll have details on her new album release date coming up in Pop Break. But first, we got to get caught up on what's happening in this forecast this evening, Jason.
Oh, Betsy, well, it was an absolutely beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. However, a change is on the way. Front is slicing across the center portion of the country, but it's still going to be pretty warm and pleasant with a light breeze overnight tonight, 70s for the next couple hours, and then decently cooling down into the 60s. We'll talk about that big changeover coming up next.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. January Keaton with, okay.
This week, the world observed Mental Health Day, which is a perfect time to check in with our students to see how they're handling being back in school during the pandemic.
On tonight's Education Station, January Keaton talks to mental health experts and school officials about how students are doing this school year so far.
When school districts brought back in-person school learning this year, it didn't come without student anxiety.
Suddenly having to go back into a brick and mortar school building for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Akron school psychologist Dr. Eric Merkel says the transition from primarily being around family, homeschooled for a year and a half, to being around hundreds of students and staff has been tough for many kids, socially and academically, some even grappling with grief.
Dealing with potential loss or ongoing illness from COVID or other conditions, or even, unfortunately, deaths in the family.
1 in 515 U.S. children have lost a caregiver to COVID. That's more than 140,000 children.
Certainly, if there's been loss, there is depression.
With nearly 7 of 10 of those children being children of color.
They're trying to navigate the concerns and the understanding of what COVID is. So we do have some students that are having concerns with adjustment.
In honor of World Mental Health Day this week, the nationwide Children's Hospital launched its On Our Sleeves campaign, providing mental health resources to 1 million classrooms across the country, including every classroom in Ohio.
During the pandemic last year, we know that kids' mental health suffered across the board.
But the experts agree that anxiety, emotional fatigue, and expressing fears of the unknown are all normal responses to abnormal circumstances, and children are resilient.
For the majority of children, they are delighted to be back to school, even if they're masking or have plexiglass around them or whatever.
Yeah, but if you do notice any extreme changes in your child's behavior, mood, attitude, or your child is having an unusually hard time adjusting to life back in the classroom, I posted more information on that On Our Sleeves mental health services that I talked about for students. Go to our website, WKYC.com. Sarah.
So important for everybody to be paying attention to that right now. Thanks, January.
Did you see the desk decorations in that classroom with the little, the plexiglass surroundings?
Yeah, they're making it work for them,
They're
right?
little VW buses. That is brilliant. I think we should do that to our cubbies in here.
We definitely need to step up our game after seeing that.
I know.
Ours are way too plain.
That was fantastic. Jason, you sit right behind me. What kind of a car do you want?
Oh,
I'll make it
you
happen.
know what? I have to think about that one. I think I probably want a convertible because it was so nice. I just want to continue that trend across the region, at least through the weekend.
Yeah, when you get to winter, well, I don't know anymore.
I mean, you look at a view like this and you think, winter, please stay away because we've been so warm, we've been so pleasant, even though, I mean, it's still fall season here. So we're holding strong in our warmth, and we're going to be nice and balmy, or at least over the next 12 hours here. So I think it's the perfect evening for an outdoor dinner, whether you're going to a restaurant or if you're just staying at home. I think it's going to be absolutely marvelous. Okay, so let's talk about the setup here that's happening across the contiguous U.S. right now. We're sort of on the ridge side of things when you talk about our weather. That high pressure has kept us stable, it's kept us quiet, it's kept us pretty sunny as well. But as that ridge departs, it's going to replace itself with an area of low pressure. A trough attached with it. It's going to rock and a rolling by the time we get to the end of the week. So let's look here. So at least on the edge of this warm front that we have in the forecast, at least for tomorrow morning, we have rising humidity, cloud cover will build in, and also the humidity will ride in tow as well. So as we fast forward here, your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, notice again that ridge of high pressure over towards the east moves on out of here. That trough of low pressure edges closer. So your day parts for tomorrow will start remarkably different. You started with bits of sunshine as well, but you also could be ending it with a few showers and even some cloud cover. Again, through the evening hours, notice cloud cover building in. That frontal boundary edges even closer to us, starting in the west. You can see by Thursday night into Friday morning, that will increase our shower threat. And then again, also perhaps even our thunderstorm threat as well. Key takeaways with this frontal boundary: if we get more sunshine in the area by Friday ahead of this front, we could be talking about a mix of some thunderstorms moving into the region. So that heat and humidity combined with that daytime heating, we could be talking about some rumbles late in Friday, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Look at this, Friday 2 p.m. increasing those showers left, at least west to east. Light to moderate rainfall could give way to moderate to heavy rainfall and some of those thunderstorm risks. As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman keeps us at a marginal risk that is a 1 out of 5. So again, moderate to heavy rainfall, and again, some rumbles, perhaps even gusty winds will be riding along with that frontal boundary as well. You can see where some of the heaviest rainfall accumulations are going to be forecast, at least over the next 5 days. This heavier rainfall could be, again, Thursday night leading into Friday night and early on Saturday. So the weekend could look markedly different from where it begins to where it ends. And even with the front, it's going to knock that humidity level down at least over the next 24 to 48 hours. It's still going to remain elevated. For tonight, though, we remain calm. We remain quiet, 50s and low 60s along the lakeshore and even 80s in the forecast. Can you believe it? Average high should be about 65 degrees, and we're talking 80s yet again. So that Mother Nature, she wants to hold summer right along strong. Rain and possibility for thunderstorms come Friday. High temperatures about 78 degrees for us here. 60s widespread for Saturday, and the biggest changeover we see from that frontal boundary, 40s at night. Waking up Sunday morning, Monday sunshine, Tuesday sunshine, and for the most part by Wednesday, we look beautiful as well. That is that Union Home Mortgage 7-day next week. I absolutely love it, Sarah.
All right, Jason, thank you. Sun will be nice. Next on What's New, remembering a Cleveland native comedian and actor. We'll tell you how the entertainment world is honoring Ricardo Flanagan.
Hey Matt, we're going to be talking about Ricardo Flanagan and how he died from COVID-19.
Ah, that sound means it's time to take a pop break, and there is new music coming from Adele. Very excited to hear about that. And Jamie Lee Curtis is honoring her mother in a very special way.
But we start tonight with some news that hits really close to home, and Kiara Cotton joins us with that. Hi, Kiara.
Yeah, that's right, Sara and Betsy. Life is certainly fragile, and the ongoing pandemic continues to prove that. The entertainment industry is mourning the loss of Ricardo Flanagan. A Cleveland native, Flanagan passed away over the weekend after contracting COVID-19 several weeks ago. He was most widely known for his roles on Shameless and Insecure and his appearance on Last Comic Standing. In a statement, his agent wrote that he was truly one of the nicest people on the planet and a wonderful performer. A GoFundMe has been set up to get him home to his family here in Cleveland. Ricardo Flanagan was 40 years old. Switching gears now to the incredible Jamie Lee Curtis. The longtime actress paid homage to her spooky roots at the premiere of Halloween Kills yesterday. Curtis arrived on the red carpet dressed as her late mother's iconic character, Marion Crane from Psycho. And she went all out, dressed in a pale blue dress, carrying a black bag and blood-stained shower curtain with the matching wig. That's right, Janet Leigh is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. I guess horror runs in the family. And Hello, that's Adele's new album. The music so many have been waiting for is finally on the way, and we have all the details. The singer is set to release her 4th studio album, 30, on November 19th. It's the first time she's released music since her album 25 back in 2015. And according to Adele, the album is all about her divorce from ex-husband Simon Konecki. That divorce was finalized early this year. And if you don't want to wait until November for the album, remember you don't have to. Her new single, Easy on Me, will be released this Friday. Sara and Betsy, are you guys excited for the album?
I can't wait to listen.
5 years we've been waiting for new Adele.
Yes.
I know, and I'm just wondering what kind of emotion we're gonna get when she talks about it being about her divorce.
I hope that she goes through all the phases of like mourning that past relationship, and then we come out on the other side of things, like with her new boo, Rich Paul, who is a Cleveland native, guys.
That's right.
So I'm excited for that.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kiara.
Sure thing.
Coming up in the next half hour of What's New.
Yeah, we are lighting up for Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. We'll hear from one woman battling the disease, and we'll show you how Cleveland is showing up for survivors.
Plus, the FDA gives the okay for one kind of e-cigarette, but why? We're going to explain that coming up.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin this half hour with 3 things to know. Hasbro's Chief Executive Officer Brian Goldner has died. The news comes just days after he decided to take a leave of absence, citing health reasons. He was diagnosed with cancer in 2014. Goldner has been serving as the CEO since 2008 and joined the business in 2000, becoming chairman of Hasbro's board in 2015. He was 58 years old.
The FDA is asking food manufacturers and restaurants to help Americans cut salt from their diets. New recommendations out today cover many foods, from restaurant meals to packaged or processed foods you buy at the grocery store, even baby food, asking those items to meet voluntary goals over the next 2.5 years. They say that's where 70% of sodium in our diets comes from, not the salt shaker. The average American consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day, but dietary guidelines recommend that adults consume no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day, or about 1 teaspoon of salt.
And actor William Shatner has made history, blasting off with the crew of a Blue Origin rocket. At 90, he becomes the oldest person ever to travel to space. Captain Kirk, of course his alter ego, and 3 other crew members, including 2 paying customers, rode the new Shepard rocket and capsule to technically the edge of space. They touched down back in Texas after 10 minutes, 17 seconds. They did get 3 minutes of zero G. Jeff Bezos greeted the crew on landing with hugs and champagne. William Shatner was very emotional. He was tweeting a lot yesterday. He had a tweet that he posted while he was up. It was a scheduled tweet, and it posted. It was actually an Isaac Newton quote, so that was kind of cool. So we'll see what comes in the aftermath as he unpacks all that happened in that,
in just 10 minutes,
yeah.
too, right? Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
Incredible.
Well, with all of that, we welcome you back to What's New on this gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. Jay is off. Sarah Shookman, kind enough to join us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You betcha. We got a trifecta with Monica today.
We do. Let's get right to it. We want to talk about today's top talker. There are new recommendations regarding regular aspirin as a heart attack preventer.
And although this news did come out yesterday, in full transparency, a lot of you have a lot of questions. I know I do. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins is here again and has been looking at all of your concerns. So Monica, dish.
You know, it's so funny that this news came out yesterday. Actually, it came out 2 years ago. And we got a lot of viewer questions. And one question we received was, why has the science changed? Well, actually, it hasn't. This was the recommendation of the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association and several others nearly 2 years ago. But the U.S. task force is just the last and latest to make the same recommendation. Another question was, will the science change again? Not likely. Another one, did this have anything to do with aspirin and COVID? No, this recommendation happened long before COVID. And finally, if I'm taking low-dose aspirin, should I stop?
Please understand, everybody needs to understand, if you have existing heart disease, aspirin is generally recommended, but you should talk to your doctor about it. And in any case, if you're thinking about taking aspirin, discuss it with your doctor.
So again, if you do not have heart disease, you should not be taking low-dose aspirin. If you think you're at risk, talk to your doctor before starting an aspirin regimen. And the risk of bleeding and stomach damage, remember, is very, very high if you don't need aspirin. So it's probably best not to risk it. Regardless, talk to your doctor.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks were like, wait a minute, I've been doing this for how long now? And all of a sudden today I'm supposed to stop.
And I think the pandemic had a lot to do with this, because a lot of people didn't go to their doctor. So they were trying to think, what do I do? Well, I'm going to pop an aspirin because I heard that's what, you should do if I'm at risk. And yeah, no, don't do that. So talk to your doctor. But yeah, this came out 2 years ago. I remember it was a big splash back then, and the U.S. task force just came out with the same recommendations. And Dr. Nissen did not believe in the age requirements that the U.S. task force came out. He basically said, if you don't have heart disease, don't take aspirin.
All right,
good to know.
Pause.
Pause.
Don't go anywhere. Today is Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. It's a type of breast cancer that is treatable, but it's not curable. And to bring awareness to the cause, Cleveland landmarks and landmarks across the country are lighting up. Our Austin Love spoke with one woman living with the cancer, and she explains how people are coming together today.
Well, I don't identify as a survivor because I'm not going to survive this disease. I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So that means the breast cancer has moved from my breast and it's in my spine, my T3. So my days are limited, but my quality of life is wonderful. So I don't feel like I'm not going to survive. I'm not a survivor. I'm not surviving, but I'm thriving. I'm probably the sickest dying person that you'll ever meet, but I feel like I'm living my best life now. Like, I feel like I have the secret to life, and I just want to tell everybody, like, I just want to tell everybody, you have to live life happy. You don't sweat the small stuff. It does suck to have this diagnosis, but it has changed my life, my whole perspective of everything. So Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day is for those of us with stage 4 breast cancer. We are doing this event called Light Up NBC, where we light up in pink, teal, and blue. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to light up for us this year, Terminal Tower, and that will include all the post office buildings downtown as well. It's a great event. We're doing a Facebook Live event as well, where we're raising money for metastatic breast cancer. Oh, it gives me hope. It gives me hope that the research is going to continue and that I'll continue to live. My friends will get to continue to live with this disease that I always say, I don't have breast cancer, or breast cancer doesn't have me. I have breast cancer. I'm living with it. I'm not dying from it. So it just means a lot that if we could bring awareness to it and get the research that we need.
Alice is absolutely incredible, isn't she, Monica?
Wow.
Yes, she definitely is.
Wow. Yeah.
Certainly. That was Austin Love, who was lucky enough to get to talk to Alice. That's kind of uplifting. That kind of helps you solidify things, put a few bits into perspective.
You know, I've always said,
yeah, what's really important.
that, people like Alice kind of make you think, you know what, whatever's going on in your life, it's not that bad. You know, and she's out there doing what she's doing, trying to raise awareness. She's absolutely incredible. And, you know, I was doing a little research, of course, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, when it comes to metastatic, of course, that's the most difficult diagnosis anyone can have because it means it spreads. So, but the good news is she's not wrong. There is hope. I counted at least 13 different types of treatments currently in clinical trials or being used, and new drugs coming out of that. So mainly they're drug treatments, but it's amazing to me, you know, 10, 12 years ago, we didn't see that many.
That's it.
And it's really incredible that research is going, that, you know, but research costs money. We learned that. So, you know, I hope people pay attention to that. And if you know anybody with breast cancer or even metastatic breast cancer, they, you know, maybe make a donation in their name.
Absolutely. It's so cool. And, you know, she's nailed it down so simply. Just make the most out of your life.
She does have the secret to life. Live it.
Yeah.
Incredible. Thanks, Alice, for your message. And thanks, Monica,
Thank
for
you.
helping us out.
No problem.
You can take an evening off now.
I'm back for the 6th.
Oh, jeez.
Well, still ahead here on What's New. If you're a fan of the Netflix show Schitt's Creek, you'll appreciate this story. Coming up, we'll take you inside a new boutique in Hudson that has a bit of everything.
Oh, but first, a recall for some of our four-legged friends. There's a new recall on some dog food. We'll tell you what the brand is and the cause coming up. And of course, we want to get old Fido outside for a walk. What a beautiful day to do so.
Oh, absolutely, Betsy. Hey, it was day 13 of an afternoon high above 70 degrees. We're going to be breaking that streak. We were nearly 10 degrees above average for today. We're going to talk about when the changeover takes place coming up.
You may remember back in February, we started a series called Reconnecting. Our Lindsay Buckingham worked with Search Angels to reunite people with long-lost loved ones. Well, we still want to help. Are you missing anyone from your life? Have you always wondered where you came from or longed to meet a birth parent or sibling? We want to help and could feature your story here on 3 News. So email us at reconnection@wkyc.com.
We have had so much fun following those journeys, so we're excited to see some
fabulous.
more. Yeah, they are so great. All right, Jason, you are really, truly the star of the show today. You deserve all the props because basically we're just going to say it's your responsibility to keep the weather this way.
You know, I'm doing my very best. I feel like the star of the show is all the sunshine we've been enjoying here and across Northeast Ohio. I have certainly been enjoying it myself. I was out yesterday, I was out today. Oh my goodness, the exercise is calling my name, whether you want to ride a bike, walk, jog, or take the pet out for a last evening walk. I think you're going to enjoy it quite nicely. Stretching over from Mansville all the way over towards Youngstown. There's only 1 degree difference between these locations. Low 70s at the Cuyahoga County Airport. 70 degrees right now, but again, it is quite nice. So what is happening? I'm going to try to give it to you gently here, as Betsy said. As we look at the country right now, you'll see several things happening here. You see a frontal boundary just kind of draped along the Central Plains states, stretching from Wisconsin all the way down through Texas, where they're expecting some active weather down there. As far as we're concerned, we're sort of on the leading edge of this cold front. We're on the warm front side. See, we're going to be pulling in some humidity and also extra cloud cover as well over the next 24 hours. And then that sets the stage for what's to come on Friday. So again, as we roll this clock for your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, we'll notice that this ridge of high pressure begins to erode away and kind of move along the I-95 corridor. Behind it, a trough of low pressure sets up and reignites another area of low pressure that moves in late Thursday into early Friday. Well, what does that mean for us? Well, that means your day part is going to be a little bit different between tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, Friday morning, and also Friday evening as well. As the frontal boundary gets closer to us, you're going to notice, oh, we're getting a little bit more rainfall. Still humid, though. Right on the leading edge of that front, we're going to be pretty humid. We're going to be pretty dark as well because we're going to have that cloud cover kind of tempering things as far as our thunderstorm threat is concerned. More daytime heating that could reignite some thunderstorms, which are possibly going to be in the forecast at least for a late Friday heading to early Sunday. Look at this, at least Saturday, I should say. Look at this. So you can see there early Friday morning. Going to be a bit of a wet one for you. Light to moderate rainfall could give way to moderate to heavy rainfall, and that is likely to build throughout the rest of your Friday. For now, a thunderstorm threat, or severe weather threat rather, is at a marginal risk. That is from the Storm Prediction Center. There's a 1 out of 5. So even though that's on the lowest end of the totem pole, we won't be able to rule out any sort of gusty winds and light to moderate rainfall. The rainfall accumulation rates starting out in the western side of the Buckeye State as it looks towards the eastern side where we are, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. Of course, with the heavier rainfall, heavier thunderstorms, we could factor in a little bit more rainfall. So that's going to be isolated in measure. Once the front gets out of here, we drop the humidity levels down. I know a lot of people are going to be happy about that, and that sets the stage for even cooler weather. Low temperatures for tomorrow morning, low 60s along the lake, perhaps even upper 50s well inland. High temperatures tomorrow, 80 degrees in the forecast, at least as far as Cleveland is concerned. When you look ahead at your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, notice this, a bit of a changeover. Upper 70s, low 80s, give way to 60s come Saturday with some lingering rain showers. On Sunday, when the Browns come home and play that big game there, we start with some morning clouds, give way to afternoon sunshine, and the sunny skies stick around for Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday, Betsy.
All right, thanks so much, Jason. Love to see that Sunday forecast. Well, everybody, it is Wellness Wednesday now here on What's New, and there is new information about electronic cigarettes.
The FDA has now authorized the first e-cigarette, saying one vaping device can actually help smokers cut back on real cigarettes. It's important to note, though, this decision only applies to Vuse's Solo e-cigarette and its tobacco-flavored nicotine cartridges. And the FDA is stressing these are neither safe nor, quote, FDA approved, stressing that for people that do not smoke, they should not use them. But the agency is currently reviewing vaping products to determine which ones should be allowed to remain on the market. and this is one of them, that they're saying, okay, this can continue to be sold with the tobacco flavor,
Right.
not all the fancy
The cherry
flavors.
and all that
Right,
stuff,
because
yeah.
that stuff they know just kind of increases the addiction.
Yeah.
But this could actually be a stepping stone for people to actually quit.
Yeah, and there's so many people that struggle with quitting. I mean, you know, when
Right.
you're actually addicted to cigarettes. I remember my dad, when he was quitting, he had a rubber band, and every time he wanted a cigarette, he'd flick the rubber
Ooh.
band. We're like, dang,
That's
Dad,
tough.
that's like, wow.
Yeah.
This would have been a far, you know, more comfortable way to do it, but
it was effective.
Got his attention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to see that they're looking at these. Obviously, there's so many concerns around vaping and health,
Yes.
and particularly with young people.
Right.
So the message is not go out and get one they're safe at
point.
all. But we'll see what they continue to come out with.
It's a tool.
Yes. Well, we have some important recall to tell you about as well, especially for our dog lovers. Tuffy's Pet Foods is voluntarily recalling about 1,600 dog food entrees. The recall affects its 12.5-ounce Pure Vita salmon entree dog food in a Tetra Pak carton. The company is concerned about possible elevated levels of vitamin D, which could cause health problems in dogs. Now, Tuffy says it's not received any reports of incidents, but it is doing this out of an abundance of caution.
Oh, that as a dog owner, you immediately go, oh, stop. I mean, I don't know
Very
that,
scary.
you know, the chances that you're feeding that particular food to your dog at this point in time.
I was going to say,
Pretty
Basil's
low.
not getting anything
Right.
that fancy. She doesn't get salmon individual
That's
entrees.
very swanky.
She gets kibble. But for those of you who really spoil your, you know, fur children out there, this is one you want to pay attention to because vitamin D, you know, can be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it can cause all sorts of issues, renal dysfunction, all kinds of things. Yeah.
Major
So
problems.
you can return, we should tell you, the recalled packages to the store and get a refund. So if you've got any at home, definitely check that out.
All right. We'll have more information on that at WKYC.com too. Coming up, there's a new space in Hudson that is full of both local and national brands. And the idea of the shop, well, it's because of Netflix. Kara Cotton is back next to talk to us all about it.
And stepping up, we're going to check in with the Cleveland kid who's taking care of his school crossing guard ahead and show us something good. home.
Well, whether you sell high-end fashion or bubblegum, there comes a time for every business where they must grow and expand. And sometimes to help you make that leap, you need a little inspiration.
Our Kiara Cotton has the story of how a popular TV show inspired the next chapter in a Cleveland woman's journey with entrepreneurship.
Do you recognize this place? It's Rose Apothecary from the hit show Schitt's Creek, but it's also the inspiration for a new boutique. This is Orange Rose Apothecary in Hudson.
We are a general store, but a very specific store. So I have a little bit of everything.
Orange Rose is owned and operated by Andrea Pierce-Naiman. She's the face behind Oil, a natural, plant-inspired skincare brand that she says promises beauty without secrets. Andrea's journey crafting products began shortly after her daughter started struggling with a chronic illness.
I started looking at labels and wondering if there was something going on her body or in her body that was really making her sick.
While her daughter's disease wasn't dermatological, Andrea's experiment quickly morphed into a full-blown business. And during the pandemic, like so many of us, she had more time on her hands. That's when she started binge-watching Schitt's Creek, and inspiration struck.
Oh my God! It's about inclusion and making everybody feel comfortable, and that's kind of what I wanted here. I wanted a safe place where people could feel supported.
And that's exactly what she created. Her new space in Hudson is home to tons of local and national brands that are all clean and eco-friendly. Plus, you might even see a familiar face or two hanging out in the shadows.
There's a lot of people that are looking for clean products, and all different ages. A lot of moms are interested in that, but we have older seniors that love it too.
I would hardly call myself an expert on this subject, so I am just going to tell you what I know.
Clean products are not what they used to be. They're really very luxurious now.
Andrea says she has even more up her sleeve. As she continues to get settled into her new space, she wants to welcome in the community more for events like paint and sips, skincare clinics for men, just to name a few.
I got to think with holidays coming, this is perfect, right? Because those are really great places to go and put little packages together. You can customize it for, everybody on your list and whatnot. Just put a few goodies in a bag, boom. Gift over.
For anybody that watched the show, I mean, feels like a high-class store and like all the little items, and it looks like this is going to be that way as well. So I'm sure Hudson will come out and support it, and many people are going to take a trip down there.
They had a full grand opening with a ribbon cutting, and they literally have something for everyone, from, like I said, candles to bubble gum, jackets, literally local and national. So you can support small and get your good stuff too.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Thanks, Kira.
Well, next here on What's New, we'll show you how one Cleveland student is going above and beyond. We'll hear from him, his mom, and the school's principal about his good deed. Coming up in Show Us Something Good.
Then on What Matters Most at 6, he has one of the last remaining shoe repair shops in the area. But in a number of days, he's going to be closing his shop. We'll take you inside Bob Ferguson's journey through the art of fixing soles.
And today is the United States Navy's birthday. It was founded on this day in 1775. So our pop quiz question today is, how many U.S. presidents once served in the Navy? Is it 2, 6, or 9? The answer next. Wow.
They do. Does yours need backup?
I do. You got me? Thank you.
Hello. Do you hear me? Hello. So, yeah, this is no joke. They really need help, and they're actually looking for people in that
I do. Hello, hello.
Well, before the break, we told you that today is the United States Navy's birthday. Happy birthday. And it was founded on this day in 1775. So we asked, how many U.S. presidents once served in the Navy? And the answer is B, 6. 6 presidents.
Well, today's show is something good comes from our own backyard, where one CMSD student is going above and beyond at Garfield Elementary School. 5th grader Carl West is helping out his school's crossing guard, Barbara Dunn. She was outside without an umbrella in the pouring rain while doing drop-off duty, so Carl held out this umbrella for her while he was waiting for his mom to pick him up.
They help you every day, no matter what. If it's raining or nothing, you should always help crossing guards if your mom or your parent is not there, because they deserve a lot more. They do a lot for you.
Yeah, or every morning he'll start the car. When it's snowing out, he'll brush off the car. That's just who he is. He's a gentleman.
When I told her about the picture and showed her the picture last week, like, I thought she was gonna cry. Like, she was just so excited and she was so touched, and great job, Carl.
Absolutely. Great job, Carl. This is the point in the show where Jay would say, we're going to be okay. Future's looking good thanks to kids like Carl.
Kids like Carl. Look at him and look what a wet, rainy day that looks like in that photo. Thanks, Carl. That is so awesome. And you can tell us your good news by using the hashtag GoodNewsClee when you post online with your pictures and your videos. And you can also share what's good with us through the WKYC app using the Near Me feature.
Well, that is it for our Wednesday edition of What's New.
Thank you so much for joining us. What Matters Most with Russ and Lena starts right now.
Now at 6, polling plea.
This is the Help Wanted sign. We need you to help run elections in Ohio.
As the clock ticks down toward Election Day, Secretary of State Frank LaRose explains the need for poll workers. Also, salt alert.
If we do it gradually, I think it'll be acceptable. There are always some people who have their fist around the salt shaker.
There's a new warning out tonight about the dangers of eating too much salt and why it's hiding in some of our favorite foods. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, breaks it down. Financial relief. With food and utility bills expected to go even higher this winter, we'll tell you what the federal government did today to help millions cope with the rising cost of living. And Shatner in space.
I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary.
Captain Kirk blasts into space and the record books and gets to see what the final frontier really looks like.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Lena Lai. Tonight, like so many businesses around the state, Ohio has a Help Wanted sign out too. There is a shortage of election day workers, and with the November general election right around the corner, the need is greater than ever. As Lydia Sparrow reports, the job does come with some unexpected perks.
We need about 17,000 people to sign up to be poll workers, and so we're putting out the Help Wanted sign.
We have seen the Help Wanted signs all over the state of Ohio. Now it's the state itself that needs help. Here's Secretary of State Frank LaRose.
We're asking people to consider signing up to be a poll worker.
Poll workers are in high demand. COVID-19 plays a minor role on why some won't sign up. But this is the real issue, at least here in Cuyahoga County.
The overall hiring situation is a challenge right now. I think that's pretty well publicized that, you know, there's a lot of jobs going unfilled, and we're no exception.
As a poll worker, you can make up to $200 if you assist